At techtimeradio.com.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, have you heard of Ether diamonds? The world's most sustainable diamonds and the only diamonds that are actually good for the planet.
Yeah, isn't that the guys that make diamonds out of air?
That's right. Ether creates the world's first positive impact diamonds made from air through a process that removes harmful air pollution, captures the carbon from it,
and retasks that carbon to a higher purpose in their one-of-a-kind diamonds.
That's correct. They are 100% real diamonds with a real impact.
Every carat of Ether diamonds offsets your personal carbon footprint for over a year.
That's fantastic. They're some of the highest quality diamonds you can buy and certified by the IGI. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, that's the International Gemologist Institute.
The world's largest independent laboratory for testing and grading gemstones. Now you're no longer stuck having to choose between mined and regular lab-grown diamonds, both of which harm the environment. Ether offers the only truly sustainable diamonds on the market, requiring no ethical or environmental trade-offs. They're the only guilt-free diamond.
To learn more about these revolutionary diamonds from air, visit their website at etherdiamonds.com. That's AETHERDIAMONDS.com, or follow them on social media at Ether Diamonds.
Hey, Mike.
What?
Do you occasionally place a bet on a sports team?
Sure.
Well, Tail Network is here to help.
What is that? What is Tail?
Tail is a social network for sports enthusiasts and gamblers.
Oh, like you. You're a football nerd, right?
He kind of is. My season is starting right now. Post sports-related content as well as your picks, and they appear right on the feed for all of your followers.
Really?
Everyone else can see your analytics, and you can start charging for your knowledge.
Oh, really?
Yes. Coins can be purchased on the App Store or through the website tailnetwork.com and used to buy picks. You can then cash out the coins you've earned for real money. Again, that's Tail Network on the App Store and tailnetwork.com. Visit them on tailnetwork.com. Again, that's TAIL, tailnetwork.com. And you can find out all your information and sign up today. The NFL season is just around the corner, and you need to be on top of your game with Tail Network.
Coming to you from the shores of the Pacific Northwest, keeping you up to date on technology, while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
You got that look.
That's right. I'm excited to be on the show today. All right. Well, for anybody that was just listening to the last hour, because we listened to it in studio, I just want to make sure everybody understands the internet is only 23 to 25 years old. So if anybody tells you that they've been doing something on the internet for 30 years, probably not possible. And we're going to be talking about that later in our second hour when we talk about Microsoft in 1999. What's that?
Maybe he's related to Al Gore.
Al
Gore invented the internet.
That's right. So just be careful what you say. Everybody considers that the internet's been around forever, but it's 22 to 23 years.
Yeah, it feels like it, though, doesn't it?
It does, but it's really only 25 years since it's been in existence.
All right.
And that was American Online. I just wanted to correct anybody listening that joined us for the hour.
Now
but
that you've got your thing, and let's move on.
All right. Welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, technology news of the week, the show for the everyday common person with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. I'm Nathan Mumm, and we got Mike Roday and David Brown. The crew is all here today. We are a live stream on Facebook, Twitch. We are checking Twitter during the show itself.
Don't forget YouTube.
YouTube.com/TechTime Radio. And, of course, KKNW, 1150 a.m. You can listen to us or watch us also. So we are everywhere. But we're only everywhere Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. live. Because if you catch us Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, not 4 to 6 p.m., and Sunday, you're catching a rebroadcast.
No comment.
Okay. All right. I was waiting for some smart aleck comment to come back at me. Okay. All right.
Okay,
so,
tickle me, Elmo.
All right. But if you are listening to a rebroadcast, which means you're not listening to us on Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m., please go to techtimeradio.com. Again, that's techtimeradio.com to stay up on all your latest information. We're going to be talking a little bit about techtimeradio.com because we had an incident a little bit later in our first hour segment. So you're going to want to hear all of the information FireEye, thank you very much for being a part of our
this
show
is,
today.
This is where your mouth gets you into trouble.
I know, it sure is. All right, so make sure you stay on for the show because we have an exciting story to tell you about. Now, on the first hour, we're going to be talking about technology's greatest mystery today with a breaking news report around 4:30. So I have the news during our Technology Insider segment to destroy any myths that you may have. We're not going to say what we're talking about, but you're going to watch it here live at 4:30. I will break the news to everybody, and it's going to be earth-shattering and change the way you use your computer each and every day.
Okay.
All right.
All right, Geraldo.
That's right. We also are going to be talking about WhatsApp, who faces a $267 million fine. We got Facebook's AI mislabeling a video as primates. That we're going to talk about that is unacceptable to have that happen when you have a video. And we'll be talking about that. Next, we have Tesla cars running into police. So nothing like having your good old Tesla car just deciding to drive directly to the police itself, and hit them on the side of the road. We have 3 scary security breaches we're going to be talking about. We have one that has Microsoft looking for answers, and we have Mike's mesmerizing moments and our NFT and whiskey tasting for the show. On the second hour, we have our Back to School Part 2 segment. We have our Microsoft special. We're going to be taking a look at Microsoft back in the 1990s. We're actually talking about year 1999. So this is the precursor to Y2K.
Yep.
We got a lot of stuff to be talking about on that. And then we're having a feature segment on the second hour. Nick Espinoza is joining us, and we're going to be talking about what happens to technology in a country like Afghanistan when someone comes on in and a regime takes over. What happens to the technology that was there? What happens to secure technology? We got tons of questions, and Nick has answers. So join us on that second hour. And, of course, we're going to be drinking some whiskey on the side.
Yeah.
All right. Now, as we start every show, which is the most important part, we go to our loaded question of the day for Mike. What can you cook that you know everyone will love?
Pizza.
Okay. You can cook pizza?
Oh, yeah.
How do you cook it?
I cook it from scratch.
You make the dough?
I make the dough. I don't make the sauce most of the time, but I can make the sauce.
Okay.
I worked in a pizza joint right out of high school for a couple of years and learned a bunch of stuff. So
okay. What pizza joint?
It's a chain.
A local?
A chain down in Arizona.
That's a chain in Arizona.
It's kind of like Chuck E. Cheese.
Okay.
So, but
so you have some secrets then, huh?
I got some secrets. I know how to do cauliflower dough and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
So I do that too.
Okay, cool. All right. Wow, that was a great loaded question. Look at
Yeah,
that.
sure.
The chef
I
now
can do grilled cheese too.
You can do grilled cheese.
Yeah, with an iron.
With a real iron?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Don't you know? Have you never done that?
No, I've never done. No.
Man,
Was it? So
were
if
you oh, that's right. You didn't go to college.
I didn't. So if I was traveling with my basketball team back in the day, we had irons. You're telling me I could have made a grilled cheese on that?
Yeah. You just
where do you put where's the bottom part you put it down on? You flip it upside down?
On a plate.
Oh, you put it on a plate.
Put it on a plate or a napkin. And
you sure you don't put it on the bed? You just go.
Yeah, it's a hotel room. You do what you want.
You should be on the show after us at 6:00. Talk more about food then.
That's what Jamie.
I'm not
Chef
sure
Jamie.
Chef Jamie would appreciate that.
No, she'd be like, "What are you talking
She's
about?"
like, I don't deal with cheese.
Amateur shit. All right. Well, if you'd like to ask us a question, we may have time during the first hour and second hour. You can always call us at 425-373-5527 or 188-298-KKNW or 188-298-5569. David will put you on hold. He'll ask you a question on what you're asking us, and then he'll ask us off the air if we're okay with that question being asked. And then if so, we'll put you on the air. Or if you want to book a time to ask a question to us, you can go to TechTimeRadio.com. The very top right-hand corner, you can click on and be a guest on the show.
Yeah.
All right.
Should.
Now,
unless you're on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, not 4 to 6.
And Sunday. That's right. Then it
go.
doesn't work. That's right. All right. Okay. Thank you for our loaded question. All right. We are going to go right now into our first segment to start our show.
What's happening in the world of technology? This is our top stories in the first 5 minutes.
All right. Story number 1. WhatsApp faces $267 million European Union fine for Facebook data sharing transparency. So this is your favorite company, right?
Okay, explain that a little bit, because that sounds a little confusing.
Okay, so first off, the European Union company that has a problem with it is specifically related to the General Data Protection Regulation. That's the GDPR.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, WhatsApp information on the phone numbers has a very basic encryption code. And if you can find that encryption code, which is posted all over everywhere, then essentially you can take all the WhatsApp information and tie it directly to a person, information of that person, the profile of that person, and the phone number itself.
So WhatsApp is supposed to be this very secure thing to use because it does double encryption.
Yeah, well, all it does is this very simple hash key that's needed to decrypt the information that could tie the number to a specific person it wanted. Essentially, in Europe, they had a company that specifically worked for, I think it was Germany, so one of the areas to actually take a look at the app, take a look at the compression, and see what's taken care of. Now, essentially, the fine that is being levied is asking for it to be redistributed in a more secure way. Otherwise, the fine will hold up. So they have an ability to fix that. But they do not know if they're going to do it or not. Facebook may just kind of say, screw it, and we're going to keep it the way it is.
264 million is a drop in the bucket for
Well, I don't know. So this kind of just goes and takes a look at the string of penalties for tech giants for other violations. We have Amazon that was faced with $888 million fine in July over GDP issues. We have Twitter that was asked to pay $450 million for, again, encryption areas in Europe. So it's going to be a very interesting deal because Europe has a whole different standard that they're trying to hold people to. And are these U.S. companies going to pay those fines, or if they're going to have some type of negotiation? But there you go. We'll see what happens.
There you go.
But let me just tell you, WhatsApp is not very secure. So I can, in the middle of 2 or 3 minutes, I can find that hash code editor, and I can take a look at anybody send me on WhatsApp. So there you go.
Because it's supposed to be, that's one of their selling points.
Yeah, no, that's why we had Trina on that said you should use Signal. Signal. Yeah, so make Single. Yeah. So you need to make sure you wear.
What are you thinking about?
I had a little bit of whiskey before the show. That's
I know.
So did you. So okay. All right. Okay. Story number 2. Facebook says it's AI mislabeling a video of black men as primates was unacceptable. Facebook is apologizing for an incident where its AI mislabeled a video of black men with a primates label, calling it an unacceptable error. As reported in the New York Times, users who watched a June 27th video posted by the UK tabloid Daily Mail received an auto prompt asking whether they wanted to keep seeing videos about primates. Facebook's disabled the entire topic information. They said it's clearly an unacceptable error, and a spokesperson from the company says they apologize and they're investigating into why this incident happened. This is, again, an example of artificial intelligence that is not ready to be deployed mainstream.
This is how computer learning goes wrong.
Correct. And we've talked about this on TechTime Radio. If this is your first episode you're listening to, we're glad you're being here. We have talked about this at least 6 or 7 times on here. AI is not ready to be able to distinguish individual sex traits, individual skin colors, individual eye colors, gesture movements. It's not quite ready for prime time, but yet every software company tries to come out with the ability to do this to enable them to be ahead of everybody else.
We're trying to rush something to market that just doesn't work.
It shouldn't
it causes too many problems.
And just think of it.
It's because 95% of all tech errors are human designed.
Yep.
Actually, we could probably say 100%.
So there should have been no reason that you would have tagged that AI as a primate thing. That you should no way have had any of that information to be. I mean, that's a pretty
evolutionarily, we're all primates, but some people would disagree with that.
Okay, yeah, I guess. So it was.
But I'm not trying to.
You're just trying to say the AI was so advanced it went back to.
Okay. I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying that there's irony there.
Okay, what's your favorite company though? So you should be bagging on them, right? Because we get in trouble for Facebook and Amazon thinking that we're doing sponsorship for them on YouTube, so be careful. All right, Tesla uses Autopilot, crashes into police car in Florida. This is awesome. All right, federal probe opened earlier this month that there were a series of similar crashes. Orlando, Florida, a Tesla using its partially automated driving system slammed into a Florida Highway Patrol cruiser Saturday on an interstate near downtown Orlando and nearly missed its driver, who had pulled over to assist a disabled vehicle. So the driver pulled over. Thanks, David. So the driver pulled over, got out to assist somebody, and the car decided
took off and
took off on its own.
The cop car.
Yeah.
Earlier, that's in that kind of the scary thing about it. Didn't Phil send us that one?
Yeah, Phil. We talked about that. Phil Hennessy has talked about all the automated driving.
Yeah,
and especially in the
talked
snow,
about this, yeah,
right? There's no way to distinguish all the white.
I'm going to ever give control of my car.
And he said he would never do it either. And no, that's correct.
This is the reason why.
The trooper's cruiser was hit shortly before 5 a.m. Saturday, hadn't activated his emergency lights, and was on the way to a disabled vehicle when the Tesla hit the cruiser's left side and then collided with another vehicle. Highway Patrol spokesman Lieutenant Kim Mounts told the Orlando Sentinel. The report said the 25-year-old man in the Tesla and the driver of the disabled vehicle suffered minor injuries, and the trooper was unhurt.
Well, that's good.
Well, that's lucky. All this AI stuff, cars
well,
driving.
Well, that's better than the one in Arizona that didn't one of those not remote control, one of those automated cars hit somebody.
Yeah.
Injure them pretty badly
in a crosswalking
That's right.
area. They didn't know how to distinguish the crosswalking area. So, all right, there you go. Well, I am your host, Nathan Mumm. We got 2 hours of a great show here on Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. We got Micro Day here. We're going to be sipping some whiskey during this commercial break. But when we come on back, we have our Technology Insider segment talking about the biggest divide in technology. You can take no middle ground on the topic that we're going to be discussing. You're either on one side or the other.
Just a big reveal.
Yes, you do not want to miss this segment. And then our third segment we have is Protect Yourself Today. So that's going to be even greater. Do you know that this weekend is the #1 weekend for cybercrime and hackers?
No.
Yes. So this whole Labor Day weekend is considered the start in the big introduction for all cybercrime initiations.
That's because this is the start of the holiday season. Right.
And you know what? It's because everybody's gone. Everybody's away. And so they have all these people that are now back in school that are also moonlighting in all these hacking areas, working in their dorms. And essentially they are now trying to get trained, which we're going to be talking about in Protect Yourself Today, so they can hack people. So do not click on any emails this weekend. Stay away from everything. Come in Tuesday, Wednesday, and then maybe click on some emails, but do not click on anything that looks crazy on an email or anything that you're like, oh, that's a little weird. Delete it, and we'll see what happens on Wednesday and Thursday of this week. If it's that important,
control your FOMO.
That's right. All right. Well, we're going to take our break here. We're going to be tasting the whiskey, and we'll see you after this. Hi, I'm Nathan Mumm, host of Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mumm on KKNW. Tech Time Radio's live show is Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m., and you can always check us on the web at techtimeradio.com. Our segmented stylized radio gives you the breaking news before it hits mainstream media. Join myself and Micro Day as we'll make you laugh.
That's good. So, Hooked on Phonics worked for you, didn't it?
It did, just a little bit. And learning something new in technology. Join us Saturdays, 4 to 6 p.m., and Thursdays from 6 to 7 a.m. The technology show for the everyday common person.
Hi, this is Lisa Downs, host of Reigniting You, the show that takes a positive, forward-looking approach to mid to late career transitions for Gen Xers and Boomers every Wednesday afternoon at 3 o'clock Pacific. Whether you're looking to stay in the traditional workforce, do your own thing, or retire or semi-retire, Reigniting You is your source for career transition advice, inspiration, and insight for what's next in your career and life. Join me Wednesdays at 3 o'clock to get re-energized, recharged, and reignited.
Welcome back to Tech Time Radio. I'm your host, Nathan Mumm. We got Micro Day here. We got David Brown behind the board. And let me just tell you, our whiskey of the day is Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, 70 proof, $29, available at Costco. So you can buy cases and loads of this, I think. If you,
I probably would. This is dangerous stuff.
This is unbelievably good.
I know.
And do you know what? I don't understand how it can be good.
It's got a screw cap.
It's got a screw cap.
Well,
but it is still in a glass bottle.
Yeah.
All right, so here's what it is. California Screwball is the original peanut butter flavored whiskey with roasted peanut, honey, vanilla, and tasted flavor notes. Born in Ocean Beach, California, Screwball was developed by Bartenders for Bartenders. It's the awarded gold medal at the SIP Awards in 2021. Wow. It's like Reese's Pieces.
It's really good.
It's like a Reese's Pieces.
I'm not going to buy any of this.
Yes, you are. You said you were going to buy a can. That's what you said. Oh, you said no?
I'm gonna have to say no because I will drink a bottle in a night.
Yeah, you know,
it's really
this may be the best part about it is only 70 proof, so we may have to have some more second hour. Okay, this will be the first time that we actually carry over and
that's right.
This is great. Okay, well, welcome back to Tech Time Radio. Now that we've got all of our picks out of the way, I don't know if I'm going to give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do. At the end of the show. But make sure you stay tuned to see if we're going to give
giving 4 of those.
4 thumbs up?
Yes.
Oh, wow. That would be the first time ever. This is unbelievable. All right. So my wife picked this up for me, and she said you needed to try it. I was like, eh. And I brought it, and I'm like, yeah, she's poor gal. She's going to have to go buy another 50 of those.
Yeah.
That's like gold and heavenly symphony of sitting around with some peanut butter and oh man, it's good.
Okay.
All right.
I'm glad to see you got those thoughts organized.
Did you?
Yeah.
We've been drinking a lot already.
You have.
Okay, that's right. All right, there. Continuing on. Okay, David, thank you very much. Let's start our next segment.
Welcome to Technology Insider. We get the information directly from the source.
Thank goodness we have David here.
He was giving you all kinds of signals.
I know he was, wasn't he? He said, what the heck are you doing? All right, welcome to Technology Insider, where you get information directly from the source. Today, we have your host, myself, talking about the huge controversial
this is big.
upset in the computer world. This is caused a huge uproar, just like an MMA Battle Royal Rumble. Okay.
Really? Where do you get these?
Whoa. You can't have a battle royal and a rumble at the same time. It's got to be one or the other.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And actually, the MMA can't use battle royal because I think that's a WWE.
I'm sorry. I guess, I was going to say, I'm flipping it the other way and going WWE all the way.
Correct. So, so you know what? So, okay.
Where do you get these comparisons from?
Well, I had a great time writing this up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sounds like it.
Flash drives. Everybody has a flash drive.
Yep.
Okay. Now, you plug a flash drive into a computer, a USB port.
Mm-hmm.
All right? The question I have for you, do you, when you're all done using the flash drive, do you go and take your Windows icon and move it down to safely eject if you wanted to? Or do you, if you have a Mac, do you go and drag it into the trash area so you can eject the drive?
Do you want my real answer?
I want your real answer.
I said no.
No?
I'm old.
Okay.
I don't care. I just rip it out.
You just rip it out. Okay, well, I'm glad that you rip it out because there's a big myth out there that you're supposed to go and actually end the ejection, which you do not need to do. And so I have information here. I have statistical information. I got factual information. Now, if your USB port has a CD-ROM attached to it and you're using a CD-ROM, or if you have an older hard drive, okay, that has platters and information in it, you absolutely have to use the safely eject feature so that it can stop writing and it can actually secure the drive into a locked state before you move it out. But if you have a flash drive, flash memory has buffer information that's available on each flash drive that it loads up first. You never, ever, ever have to eject it to pull it on out. We're going to talk about it. I have people, and I don't want to give AJ a hard time, but AJ, so if you're listening to the show, I know he's going to listen to the show. We had this discussion, and he was doing this thing, and he moved it over here and ejected. What are you doing? Just pull the thing out. Oh, no, I've been told by technology people all my life that I got to make sure I safely eject it. That's a big. So
myth. where did this stupid thing come from?
Well, a long time ago, you had a lot of hard drives that were available in USB drives, and if you have a hard drive or a CD-ROM attached to it, you have to put that hard drive into a steady state that will allow you to eject the drive, but you don't have to do it with flash memory. You've never had to do it with flash memory. Specifically, let's talk about Windows. Windows 10, you do not have to, at any time, go and use that area because it already has built into its feature called quick removal. So that allows you to yank the drive at any time without having to worry about anything or any of the settings in there. Now, if you're copying a file over, let's just be very, very clear. Let's have a big movie file I'm copying over to a USB drive so I can go inside and watch it.
Are you saying I should wait for that to finish copying before I pull it out?
Yes, you have to. Okay, so this is basic knowledge. Yeah, so basic knowledge, if you're trying to transfer a file to a USB drive, wait till it's finished, but then you can just pop the drive out. You don't have to go and eject it. You can do this with a Mac and with a PC. So essentially, you have been able to do this all the way back into Windows 7. So if you had an old Windows 7 box, you have not needed to use this feature at all.
Well, darn it, I used to feel like a rebel. Now I'm going to have to go back and start doing the eject safely, so I feel rebellious.
So you feel rebellious?
Yeah, there we go.
Do you remember the old VHS tapes where you had to have the tracking on the VHS tapes?
God.
So there's
there's a lot of people that you just lost because I don't even know if they even know what a VHS.
So VHS
tape is.
when it first came out, there was this tracking button, and you had to do tracking.
Yeah.
So literally 5 years into creating VHS deals, they had self-tracking, auto tracking within every VCR that was sold. Every VCR, they literally had tracking buttons still available on remotes, just because people were so ingrained that they had to do tracking.
This is how traditions are formed.
Okay. Yep.
This is how we gather information, and we establish a way of doing stuff.
Yep.
And then we continue to do it, even though we don't need to do it.
Did you ever blown a Nintendo cartridge?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah. Okay. What are you doing when you're blowing in a Nintendo cartridge?
It doesn't matter. It worked.
Did it really work?
Yeah. It always worked.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, it did. Totally.
Well, the connections within the unit and the cartridge?
Well, we also did the whole
push
in one side before the other side and pull one side up.
Okay, so if your connections were loose inside the unit itself, then you'd have to clean it. So there were some cleaning things, but never blowing at your Nintendo cartridge. Okay,
it's called association. That's what we associated with what worked. So if we blew on the cartridge and put it in, it worked. We associate that. So we create a pattern of behavior around that because we've given ourselves some really good dopamine shots. Oh, look, I was a good boy. Look at what I did.
Do you know 90% of people believe that you have to safely remove a flash drive?
Yeah.
So the CNN did a whole little article probe about this, and they asked everybody, and so 90% of the world is wrong in their assumption of what they would do with the flash memory drive. So now I've tested this out with like 100 different.
I have never had I've always done that. I've always just said, and pull it out, yanked it out, and never had a problem. It never corrupted the flash drive. It never effed up my computer or nothing.
So people say that, oh, you know what, I lost data with my flash drive. Now, if you're pulling in and out of your flash drive and you have a crappy flash drive and your connectors go bad, that's your problem on your flash drive. But nowhere in any testing, even when you're copying the files over, what happens if you do a copy, don't do a move command. Whenever you do anything, you should always copy. If you do a copy and you're copying it halfway through and you do pull it out, what happens is that file still exists normally from where you originated and copied it. You'll recopy back over the flash drive. Nothing's changed. Nothing's done anything different from there at all.
Yeah. This is a really interesting story because it does really speak to how humans are biologically unsuited for civilization.
Is that it? So the Mac OS. So people say, well, gee, Macs, you have to do this. Well, no. Since High Sierra and forward in the Mac, so that's about 8 years ago, 9 years ago, data that was written in the operations.
Sure, that wasn't 35 years ago.
No, it wasn't 35 years ago. Okay. No, back when the internet was still running. Okay. All right. If you pull out a drive while it's copying, then yes, data could be damaged in a Mac in High Sierra and upward because your data hasn't finished copying. But you're not going to lose your data if you do a copy because it's still originally there, and you're not going to have your flash drive hosed other than it's a file that's a big size that you can't open. And this sometimes happens if you copy a file over and you pull it out too quickly. Sometimes it'll have an extension like an MP3 or something, and you click on it and it says data file is corrupted. That's probably because you didn't finish copying it all the way to do that information. But as far as the actual ability of having that taken care of, the cache that is built in the Mac OS has always had a backup buffer that when you're copying it, as it's finished copying, then it writes an overwrite code that says, yes, it's finished copying, so you're still safe pulling it out when it's done there at the end.
Awesome. You're geeking out right now.
All right. Well, that is the breaking news that everybody needs to know. Flash memory.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, just pull it out. It's a flash memory card. That's the whole reason that flash memory existed. It has instant transfer ability to have that information there. It will not screw up your deal.
Dang it.
There you go. All right.
Dang it. I feel so...
You feel... Well, you're already a rebel. So
I feel so unrebellious.
So now you feel all vindicated. You're like, I knew that the whole time.
No, I didn't care.
You thought you were a rebel, didn't you?
Because I used to get told, you got to do the save. No, I'm not doing that.
That's whoever IT guy totally didn't do the research.
Whatever.
All right, well, here we go.
Whatever.
Coming up next, we have our Protect Yourself Today segment talking about this week's breaches. And you're going to need to join us after this because we have 3 stories on Protect Yourself Today that will probably scare you, as this week is the big week for hackers out there and cyber criminals. So if you got an email,
Hacker Week, Hacker Fest.
Well, so if you got an email from somebody that you think shouldn't be sending an email, and all of a sudden they want to become your friend, do not accept that invite. If you
Dang it, this is when I get all my friend requests.
Is
for
this
Facebook?
Is this your weekend of?
Is that why my junk mail is all of a sudden blown up in the last couple days?
Yeah, this is a big week. This is the big week. It's like going back to school. This is going back to hacker time.
Yep.
So be careful over this weekend. So I'm your host, Nathan Mumm. We got Mike Roday here, David behind the board. We will see you after this commercial break.
Did you know that up to 12 to 15% of Americans grind their teeth at night while they sleep? Yeah, it's called bruxism. I used to work at a sleep lab, and we used to measure that, and it leads to a lot of problems like headaches and destroys your teeth. It wears down the enamel, and it's just very hard on your mouth.
So every once in a while I'll wake up, my jaw will hurt. Do you think I'm grinding my teeth at night?
Yep.
Well, so how do you go about protecting this then?
The number one recommended way of protecting yourself from teeth grinding is what's called a night guard, which is a custom fitted prosthetic that you put inside your mouth. It usually runs, hundreds of dollars, but I know our sponsor, Smile Brilliant, can get you custom fitted night guards for as little as $45 a piece.
So if you go to smilebrilliant.com and use TechTime Radio at checkout, you can receive 20% off your complete order. So visit smilebrilliant.com and use the TechTime Radio at checkout code.
All right. Welcome back to Tech Time Radio. I'm your host, Nathan Mumm. Mike, how is that whiskey tasting?
Yeah, I need to not get this. I would get.
What did you
not
say?
Slinging drunk.
Yeah, you said during the break. You said you get a little smashed with this.
I would get smashed with this because it tastes really good, and
I think I could drink a whole bottle.
I would keep drinking.
Yes, it's
This
unbelievable.
is dangerous. This is a dangerous one.
Well, this is by far the best whiskey we've ever had on the show, just for my drinking taste.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of
higher end stuff,
whiskey snobs out there that would
to just say
put their nose up at it because
it's
a blended whiskey, right?
Yeah.
Including somebody in the Mumm family.
Yeah, probably my brother wouldn't like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? He'd probably give this.
This is completely gustatory. It just tastes.
It tastes like a Reese's Pieces.
It tastes wonderful.
Oh my word! It's just unbelievable.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We can stop talking.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, welcome back to our show. We are a technology show, but today we're very enamored with our drinking. We have
enamored,
our Screwball.
Not enameled.
Enamored.
Did I say enameled? Yeah.
Hooked phonics worked for you, didn't it?
Well, my words are going to be bad. So anybody listening on the holiday weekend, I'm so sorry. I'm going to be slurring a lot of things. I had a little bit too much of the 70 proof Screwball peanut butter whiskey. It's spelled SQ.
No, not Q.
SKREWBALL.
Wow.
And it is,
dude.
Yeah, dude. All right. Well, let's start our next great segment. This is normally your whiskey drinking.
This is my drink. I'm gonna finish off this
during the segment.
Pour myself some more.
Okay, all right. Let's start our next segment right up here, David.
Protect yourself today.
All right. Welcome to Protect Yourself Today, where we cover the current news on breaches, cyber attacks, and identity theft across the globe. Story number one.
Okay.
The alcohol's going to get to me.
Yeah.
Story number one. As the United States heads into the holiday weekend, experts are warning that ransomware attacks are to be unleashed, and it would be crypto-locking chaos in the coming days. So we kind of talked about this earlier. But essentially, this is coming out from the United States government, issued this release to all technology individuals with a private personal email to technology companies and then posted it all over the web.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Attackers view holidays and weekends, especially holiday weekends, as an attractive time frame to which to target potential victims, including small businesses and large businesses. The U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency warned this week. The Conti ransomware game, the CONTI, Conti, this is a new one. Now, we've talked about Revil.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about a couple of Dark Side. We've talked about, this is the new ransomware gang. So this is kind of, let's say, You had these two
Is this
elite.
is this Revil 2.0?
Yeah, so they're coming up. They're the up and coming group, and we're going to talk about them. They're bringing in some of the expertise from some of the other groups. So ransomware gang is being counted as one of the top threats, security experts warn. Affiliates of the Conti operation have been behind a significant number of recent attacks, and has the Lockbit 2.0 operation, which is their intro pack that you can get. So when you are an affiliate with this Conte group, essentially you go through training on Lockbit 2.0. You get a whole packet. You get a whole packet for training.
We've talked about how interesting these structures are. They even have customer service.
Yes, they do, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. All right, so security firm Sophos says that the wake of multiple ransomwares as a service attack going dark, including big players like DarkSide, Avalon, Revo, have been missing, and now Conte appears to be recruiting many of the former affiliates. Operators develop and distribute ransomware where affiliates take it and use it to infect victims, and then share the results for a ransomware payment. So I, as an affiliate, or I could essentially...
Are you outing yourself right now?
No, I'm not an affiliate. But as an affiliate, I can use their operating system to attack people through all these different items that are available.
Mm-hmm.
And from that, I can get anywhere between 30% up to 70% of the ransom paid to me as the affiliate. Conte is super active lately, says British information security keeper Kevin Botman. At least some affiliates appeared unconcerned about the attacks in progress being detected, as ransomware is forcibly encrypting the information on their newest hack that is called Locker. That essentially it takes a file, it appends a .locker extension to the file, and then immediately deletes it and transfers it to a cloud service. So if I get infected with this new deal, it'll take my files, it'll end up renaming them all to .locker after it's deleted them from my system and moved them all to 0.0, so there's no files in there except for the name itself as a text file. And then we'll transfer it to the cloud so that the security hackers can have this.
What's the quickest way somebody's going to do that to my machine, if they're going to do that to my machine?
The quickest way they would do that to your machine is they would have you click on something to download, and we're going to talk about what they do in here.
Like in our letter segment?
Yeah, well, in our letter segment, they would do that. But let's take a look at what's being happened for this. Essentially, the ransomware company is using very simple enhancements to Zoom and social media video conferencing services.
Oh, of course.
So if you have a video conferencing, Zoom or Microsoft Teams, essentially they're coming out with plugins and these extensions to make your Zoom meeting even better. I can download all these extensions. I can get sound. I can get this type of deal. And by clicking in it, essentially the Conte affiliates are getting access to your computer.
So this would be off-brand attachments.
Off-brand. This is not from Zoom, but it looks like
Zoom itself, but
correct.
It probably looks like Zoom.
Yep. And it sends it to you in an email or to a website.
I just got an update from Zoom today. I was doing something, a little thing flashed up, said Zoom is updating. Do you want to do that now?
Was it the actual Zoom client?
It looked like the actual.
I hope it was.
I hope it was. Otherwise, I'm screwed.
You are screwed. It probably was the Zoom client.
I'm screwballed.
That's these you actually have to click on different items to move from there. So essentially what has happened is these lower skilled partners are gaining more and more traction by having these tool suites available to them on cloud services to deploy to victims. So if I have somebody I don't like, I'm fire. But if I have the company that I wanted to pick on,
I think you need to,
we're going to talk about
your
that.
roll on that.
We're going to talk about that coming on up. Essentially, what happens is if you have a company that you want to attack, you can now choose from a selection of like 16 different attacks, and from those attacks, they send out the initiated attack, and then if you get that person with that, then you get the ransomware.
This is like playing a Madden football game.
You
need to set up your
offense and your defense,
and then your other partner sets up the defense.
Well, in Madden football game, all you got to do is do audibles the whole time, and then you just keep on rotating for that screen pass.
Yeah, I don't know that much about it. I'm just trying to make an analogy here for other people that may not know what
you can be really excited. I haven't gotten the new Madden 22. Now you're going to make me buy it tonight.
I have played Madden once in my life, yeah.
That's a great game.
Yeah, no.
Okay. All right, story number 2. Millions of passwords stolen by cyber criminals exposed by activist hackers. So this is really interesting. Noam Rotem is his name.
Noam Rotem?
Yep. So Noam Rotem is essentially an activist hacker. So what that means is he's a hacker that
who does it to educate everybody else.
Yeah, so that means he's probably a hacker that made a lot of money on the side, and now he's deciding to become an activist.
So he's kind of like these people that get rich doing things, and then they become very charitable people.
Correct. So this is kind of like, you can think of it as kind of like when you start your own foundation that you have after you're a billionaire, you're
like
philanthropic
that's right.
endeavors. So he decided
right.
this. Okay, an explosive database with millions of login passwords and countless websites essentially has been discovered by Noam. The hacker activist has seen and taken a look at
Shouldn't that be
emails.
hacktivist?
It should be a hacktivist, but
Hacktivist, yeah.
It should be hacktivist, but it's a hacker and activist.
That's
so
I'm going to claim that.
a hacktivist.
Hacktivist. That's
Yeah, I've
my
seen
word.
it before.
Oh, that's too bad.
I've seen it before.
That's too bad.
But you can claim it though. That's
I'll
great.
claim it.
Okay, hacktivist. All right. So essentially, he's seen the ability to log in and actually take a look at a criminal's database that they had on a server. Him and a friend created a script to take a look at security hacks that happen, and he has found a server that had hundreds of thousands of passwords checkmarked with information that included information with passwords saved for browsers that were saved in cookies, the ability to do cryptocurrency logins, and essentially out of his 10% of the download of this database, that's all he could get. With 10% of the database, he has 2.5 million passwords that provide insights into the identities of victims from the Far East, North America, South America, Europe, Africa, all of them with full information of banking, medical services, security services, any porn sites that someone would visit, email services, and organizations to every person's login, and has verified that at least 60% of the 2.5 million addresses are valid.
Yeah. You know, every time you talk about this stuff, I want to go home and pack up and go off the grid.
Go off the grid?
Yeah.
Well, what it does tell you is that everybody has been there. If you think your information's not on the internet,
I'm pretty sure everybody has something out there that somebody else has that they're not supposed to. So,
all right, story number 3, because then we're going to go to a commercial break, and when we come on back, before we start Mike's mesmerizing moment, we're going to talk about what happened to TechTime Radio, specifically TechTimeRadio.com.
How about that? I wonder what happened to TechTime Radio.
We'll be talking about it. All right, story number 3. Microsoft Azure cloud vulnerability is the worst you can imagine. Thousands of companies using Azure warned that their data has been exposed for years.
Is that Azure is an A-Z-U-R-E?
Azure, yes, correct.
Okay.
Or Azure. Sometimes they pronounce it that way, too.
Yeah, you pronounce it that way. That's okay.
Okay, Microsoft has warned
I'm just clarifying.
of its Azure, I'm going to keep on saying that, cloud customers, including many Fortune 500 companies, about a vulnerability that left their data completely exposed for the last 2 years. A flaw in the CosmoDB database product left more than 330,000 customers open to complete unrestricted access by the attackers. The vulnerability was introduced in 2019 when Microsoft added a data visualization feature called Jupyter Notebook to the CosmoDB, so tech speak. But essentially, this feature was turned on by default, causing all these databases to be accessible since February of 2021.
Wow. All I need now is a mouse.
So that's right. You could have one of the Razer mouse from last week, right?
Razer mouse from last week, and I'll get all this stuff.
A listing from Azure included companies such as Coca-Cola, Liberty Mutual Insurance, ExxonMobil, and Walgreens, just to name a few that have been completely breached.
Wow. Liberty.
Liberty Mutual. That's right. All right. So Microsoft says that they are working on it and that the databases are essentially being locked down as we speak. But because the vulnerability includes accesses to customers' database, they sent out a large email to all of their customers saying that the illicit data could have been accessed and that we need to make sure you change your settings for this database.
Change this, change that.
They turned on the database feature. Microsoft Azure turned it on by default. And essentially they're telling everybody, please go in and take care of it.
Why don't they just patch it? And
well,
just turn it off?
Because then all of a sudden they're going to be going into people's databases and configuration servers to do this. So
but they turned it on.
Well, yeah,
that's one of my complaints about this stuff is they
caused the problem.
They caused the problem.
Yeah,
then they're like, well, now it's your responsibility to fix it. Well, you fix it.
Well, Microsoft says that they are looking into this issue, and they issued a press release saying that their investigation shows no unauthorized access other than the researchers' activity that let us know this. Essentially, Microsoft paid Wiz, who discovered this, $40,000 for the discovery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, looking into.
Yeah, looking into it. You tell me Wiz didn't sell some of this.
See, it's funny that you said that because that's like looking into the toilet while you take a whiz. You're looking in there. You're not, and then you flush.
Not do anything. All right. All right. I guess that's an analogy you can add to your. Is that a Mike's mesmerizing moment?
It could be.
Or is it a Nathan Nugget?
It's not a Nathan Nugget.
It's not a Nathan Nugget. All right.
I'm not a cat.
I'm not a cat.
I don't know where that came from.
All right,
David, where did that come from?
His old file shares that he has. All right. You know what? We're going to take a commercial break. When we come on back, we're going to be talking about our buddies FireEye. Thank you very much. TechTime Radio, and we're going to be having Mike's mesmerizing moment, and of course, our pick of the day. I'm Nathan Mumm. We got Microday here, and David behind the board. We'll see you after this break.
Hey, Mike, as a business owner, why do we form an LLC or a corporation?
Well, that's pretty simple. We want to protect ourselves personally from the liability of the company.
That's right, Mike. The very next thing we should be doing as business owners is protecting ourselves personally from the finances of the company.
Right. Yeah, that's why you want to get help, and you can get help from the Business Doctor, which was founded by Dr. Glenn Smith, PhD in Business Management, Accounting, and Finance. Schedule your free business evaluation and consultation at thebusinessdoctor.us.
Enroll in the Rapid Business Credit Builder program and get up to 100K business credit under the company's EIN and the DUNS number in less than 6 months. The DUNS number is really important for your rating on when you purchase other items from other businesses, never having to use personal credit ever again. That's thebusinessdoctor.us or call 866-383-1030. Again, that's 866-383-1030 or thebusinessdoctor.us.
Visit the Business Doctor today.
Welcome back to TechTime Radio.
What are you trying to sell me here?
The Costco bottle, even though this is $29.99 available at Wines & More, because that's where I get all my prices.
Wow.
So somebody asked me, where do you get your prices, Nathan, for your whiskey? Wines & More. So whatever Wines & More has as a list, I cut and paste it, add it to our show notes. But my wife just texted me. She's listening to the show and wanted to make sure we get this correct. It's $35 at Costco.
Oh, okay.
So I guess you go to Wines & More in our local area, you can save some money.
That's very un-Costco-like.
Was that to be that expensive?
Yeah, to be less expensive, to be more expensive than Wines & More.
Well, this is pretty good stuff.
Wines & More is a Costco whiskey.
Wines. Have you ever been to Wines & More?
No, I don't. No.
Oh, you need to go. We need to go because they have like a cigar lounge too.
Oh, well, I will go for that.
So they have like we should do that after one of these shows. On our way back, go to the cigar
lounge.
Do that. Yeah, we'll have to do that and take care of it. All right. Well, welcome back to our show. Let's talk a little bit about FireEye.
Let's talk about FireEye.
So let me just tell you.
Let's talk about how Nathan gets himself into trouble.
So I always I challenge FireEye to try to break into our website, and
they did.
Well,
kinda.
No, let's talk about this. So as of Thursday, all of a sudden I'm looking at my website. I'm like, what the heck's happening here? Everything's a little bit different. Some emails are bouncing back and something like that because they changed the DNS information. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? So congratulations to FireEye. They did not hack the site, but they essentially paid somebody at HostGator to give them some type of account information to go on in, edit our site.
To me, that's still hacking because they got through your security.
But did they get through my security to actually edit my site, or did they actually go with a creative?
Maybe they didn't get. They found the human element.
They did. They probably had somebody
right, and that's where all this stuff. Everything comes back to the human element.
So that means HostGator did not follow their security procedures to ask for my special. There's no way they know my special security code. There's absolutely no way they know my special security code because there's no way I like to climb in the mountains of blah, 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 blah. I mean, they would not have known that. But
my point is that is hacking just limited to what you're doing virtually online with code?
I don't know. I guess not. So let me just say, congratulations, FireEye. You got into my site. But now let's talk about what they did. So this is very
awesome.
interesting.
This is classy.
So what happened is my site was pretty good with some SEO stuff. It was pretty good. Essentially, my site now for SEO and speed and everything is like 97 out of 100.
Yeah, they hacked your site and then optimized.
And then they optimized everything. and then left a little note that said, "Thank you very much. We got you, but here you go. We fixed your site." So is that a compliment? Did they like listening? So there's got to be somebody there that must like the show because he spent a bunch of time optimizing it, making our site even better. So thank you very much for doing all that work.
That's one of those things where, that's like, hey, we got you. And that's a double entendre, right? We got you.
Yeah.
We can get you.
We can get you. So you gotta so you better be careful.
So maybe cut us a little slack.
So okay. So I'm giving you a thumbs up. So if anybody wants to use FireEye, whoever the guy was that hacked my site, probably called in and answered some questions.
Which is funny because I think I warned you about.
Yeah, but they didn't hack it. They didn't come in through.
I know.
I have two-factor authentication. Right. I have a login picture. Nick is going to laugh at me when he hears about this.
They still got into your website. They still changed the code. Okay. I mean, that's a hack.
You're right. All right. It's all back up, though. TechTimeRadio.com. It's even faster and quicker than it's ever been before and optimized.
And it's optimized.
That's right. Okay.
So.
All right. Well, let's now move right into Mike's mesmerizing moment.
This is Mike's mesmerizing moment. Presented by Story Coffee. Visit storycoffee.com.
There's so much to talk about because it's so funny that all the stuff that we take for granted, all these things that we have, everything that we're doing out there in business, it all comes down to the fallibility of human beings.
Yep.
The AI that Facebook was poo-pooing on.
Yep.
That was created by a human being who did not know how to program or how to look for that. The same thing that happened with FireEye.
Yeah.
Maybe they couldn't get it through the technical piece of it, but they were able to get
social engineering
through social engineering. And that's because we are human beings and we follow specific behavior patterns that can be exploited. Why is this the start of the hacking season? Why is this Hacktoberfest?
Well, there you go.
Maybe that's a good one.
There you go,
right?
Hacktoberfest.
Why is this the big weekend? Because why? They're taking advantage of certain things. Why? People are traveling.
Yep.
People are going away to school. They're getting back into their routines. People are
got new emails if you're at a college, right? So you're getting all these new emails. All of a sudden, something
and you're
comes
getting flooded. And I don't know about you, but when you get flooded with emails, you tend to start getting what's called quick shots, where you just scan an email and then you move on to the next one. You move on to the next one. If something catches your eye that you're really not paying attention, you're more likely to click on that. Because it gets us in our subconscious. It gets us in our survival brain. And that's what most of these people are doing when they take advantage of us, is they're taking advantage of our survival systems. So it's kind of crazy, but yeah, it's interesting that we spend so much time talking about all the technology and the civilization and things that we have built without considering the human behavior that drives it all. And that's what's exploitable.
That's it. All right. Well, you know what? Let's now move to our pick of the day.
No.
And now our pick of the day for our whiskey tastings. Let's see what bubbles to the top.
All right, Mike. We got Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, 70 proof, $29.99 at Wines and More, but $35, which includes tax. I was corrected that it also includes tax at Costco. California Screwball is the original peanut butter flavored whiskey. Roasted peanuts. It actually says there's peanuts in there. So if you have a peanut allergy,
I don't know if that counts as a peanut allergy.
Yes, it contains peanuts there. You see that?
Okay, yeah, there it is.
It contains peanuts. And from Ocean Beach, California, developed by bartenders for bartenders.
All right, from strict taste and smoothness, this is my favorite whiskey to date.
I'm
going to give it 2 thumbs.
You're going to give it 2 thumbs? I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up. So that means we got 4 thumbs up.
Yeah.
This is by far...
This is the best tasting stuff that we've ever had on the show.
It is. And you know what? We're going to pour another bottle so we can go into the second hour. So our second hour is going to be so interesting.
So I don't know what you would classify this because it is a blended whiskey. It's it's flavored differently than normal whiskey.
Dude, it is a Reese's Pieces with alcohol.
But if you like peanut butter, if you hate peanut butter, then it's probably a thumbs down. But
yeah,
this is really good.
This really
I'm
is.
not going to buy any.
Yeah, okay, yeah, right.
I might buy one.
Okay, you're going to buy 50. All right, Mike, so on our second hour, we have our Back to School Part 2 segment. So we talked about that. We're going to have that. We replace our letters.
Instead of letters.
Yeah, replaces our letters. We have our Microsoft special. What was Microsoft like back in the 90s? As your host looks back at the year 1991, we got some Y2K stuff.
99.
Wait, or not, what did I say?
Yeah, 91.
The 1990.
See, you're trying to do that. You're trying to do that longer than the internet's been around stuff.
1999. We have our main feature focus with Nick Espinoza from Security Fanatics to discuss what the country is like being taken over. I am your host, Nathan Mumm. We got Micro Day here. David Brown. Join us on the second hour right after these commercial breaks.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/TechTimeRadio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, Mum's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host.
Mike.
What?
Do you occasionally place a bet on a sports team?
Sure.
Well, Tail Network is here to help.
What is that? What is Tail?
Tail is a social network for sports enthusiasts and gamblers.
Oh, like you. You're a football nerd, right?
I kind of is. My season is starting right now. Post sports-related content as well as your picks, and they appear right on the feed for all of your followers.
Really?
Everyone else can see your analytics, and you can start charging for your knowledge.
Oh, really?
Yes. Coins can be purchased on the App Store or through the website tailnetwork.com and used to buy picks. You can then cash out the coins you've earned for real money. Again, that's Tail Network on the App Store and tailnetwork.com. Visit them on tailnetwork.com. Again, that's TAIL, tailnetwork.com. And you can find out all your information and sign up today. The NFL season is just around the corner, and you need to be on top of your game with Tail Network.
Although it's been 20 years since the events of 9/11, many of us can still remember it like it was yesterday. America and the world even has never been the same. From Rifelion Media, the King of the World podcast series explores the impact of that day for the American Muslim community through the journey of its host, who was a high school senior at that time. This 7-part series delves into what it was like to be a Muslim living in America for the past 20 years in a unique and accessible way, covering topics like identity, belonging, mental health, and addiction, alongside the related events of the last 20 years, including the war on terror, spying, discrimination, media representation, and resilience. If you like podcasts like Serial or 1619, then you'll love King of the World. Subscribe now to King of the World wherever you get your podcast.
Hey, Mike, you look older lately.
Yeah, I've been sitting in front of my screen for hours at a time.
You know, that's not good for you.
Tell me about it.
You need to get Let's Face It, a revolutionary protective serum that harnesses the power to help you de-age.
Prevent digital aging?
Recent studies have shown how important it is to have protection from high-energy, visible HEV light. It can help you revitalize damaged area. Mike, where can we find great information about this?
At impressionderma.com. impressionderma.com.
Get your blue light protection today at impressionderma.com.
Prevent digital aging.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, have you heard of Thousand Fell?
Yeah, that's the company that's redesigning sustainability for the next generation, starting with a fully circular sneaker.
That's correct. Each pair combines thoughtful design with modern and sustainable sourced material, making them durable, comfortable, and recyclable. 97% of sneakers end up in a landfill.
We're not okay with that. Join the movement at www.thousandfell.com. Use the promo code TechTime21 to get $21 off your first order. Every pair of Thousand Fell purchase comes with a $20 recycling credit towards your next purchase, making it easier than ever to skip a trip to the landfill.
Coming to you from the shores of the Pacific Northwest, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics along with special guests to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
We're back.
We're back. Welcome to TechTime Radio, Hour 2. The show that makes you go,
the whiskey that makes you go,
Technology news of the week. The show for the everyday common person with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. Now, we have poured a second shot of our alcohol.
This is the first.
This is the first. We've never gone into the second hour with another shot of whiskey.
That's
But
right.
if you missed our first hour, you'll see that this is our first ever 4 thumbs up whiskey. It's our Screwball,
Screwball peanut
butter whiskey. It is amazing.
It is amazing.
Oh, we're going to have to take an extra hour and a half before we drive home
I know.
at the
We're
studio
gonna,
here.
We're going to have to hang out in the parking lot for
We're going to
a
listen
while, I
to
think.
Chef Jamie. She's going to tell us what needs to be cooked in different stuff
That's
here.
not
Which you
Grill-
can hear 6 to 7 p.m. right after us tonight here on KKNW.
Oh, nice plug.
There you go,
I was going
David.
to talk about grilled cheese and irons, but yours is better.
Okay, that's right. Welcome to our show. If you're catching us from 4 to 6 p.m. on Saturday, you're seeing the live show. If you are watching us on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, not 4 to 6 p.m., and on Sunday, you're catching a rebroadcast. So go to techtimeradio.com Thank you, FireEye, for updating all of their SEO for us and allowing us to have all of the information you need to stay on top of technology each and every day. Hour 2. This is exciting. Look at what we're going to talk about.
What are we going to talk about?
On the second hour, we have our Back to School Part 2 segment.
Woo!
So we're going to be changing up a little bit. We should tell some people here. So we're going to do our letters segment every other week. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have some Tech Time deals and steals is what we're going to call it.
Deals and steals.
Do you like that? Deals and steals.
Sure. That sounds very on the level.
On the level?
That's right.
Does it sound politically correct?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
It just sounds on the level.
That's on the level?
Yeah.
You're in the
it
relaxed?
Sounds very...
the relaxed 2 hour
I got my relaxed pose.
Okay.
I'm pleasantly buzzed from the,
from the
peanut butter whiskey.
All right. Well, hopefully you're going to be able to at least interview me for the final segment that we have here with our Microsoft special. I don't know if those questions are going to be interesting if they come out of you.
I don't know.
Back in the 90s, we're going to be talking about the year 1999. We got some Y2K stuff here. We're going to have to save a lot of time for that segment.
Oh, I remember Y2K was so...
The worm virus came out. The very first infected email virus comes out in 1999.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be talking about all these and how it impacted Microsoft, how it impacted my life, and we're going to have a great time for that segment. And...
You know, I was working for a telecommunication company in 1999 as a security person.
Well, let me tell you, that night, that New Year's night, 1999, our Building 11 at Microsoft was completely staffed. And we're gonna have to.
We were completely staffed too, and we were all standing around waiting for the global shutdown of all the computer
planes
systems
falling out of the skies, right?
And
planes were gonna fall out of the skies.
Yeah,
and
that was the biggest. That was the biggest disappointment in my life, right there.
Was it?
Yeah, I mean, we just sat there and watched fireworks happen, and
nothing happened.
Nothing happened at Y2K.
But we're going to talk about all the work up that got us into 1999 and all the information that happened. Microsoft was really busy that year. We are also going to be talking with Nick Espinoza from Security Fanatics. He's going to be on the show talking about Afghanistan and the field of technology. When an overthrown government or regime takes over a country, what happens to all the IT items?
Yeah.
What happens to the internet pipes? What happens to the information that was
previously
what happens
there?
To that? Well, we're going to be talking
why are
about
they
it.
whining about it?
Well, we're going to be talking about that on our middle segment here.
Okay.
So we're going to dive down and see what happens to the infrastructure, servers, data warehousing, and social media aspects. And then, of course,
let's get Facebook on that.
What's that?
Let's get Facebook on that.
We'll get Facebook on there with some information. We're going to start our show, as we always do, the second hour with our conversational cards from our great folks at
Love Shack.
The Love Shack, which airs on...
Love Shack Live airs every Thursday afternoon, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Pacific time, right here on AM 1150 KKNW.
Yeah.
All right.
David, you need some peanut butter whiskey. That wasn't that smooth.
Yeah, I'm still covered up here, though.
Yeah, he you know what?
Yeah.
They have some safety protocols in here. So
I know.
We had to wear our masks and everything.
You're
Well,
got it.
I got an interesting weekend, right?
Yeah, you're going to PAX.
I'm going
West.
to PAX. I'm going to PAX West, the big computer nerd event at the convention center on Sunday.
And then you're going to the State Fair on Monday, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So
you are going to get COVID.
No, I'm not. No, I'm going to wear masks. I'll protect myself. I will be fine.
Sure. Yeah.
And if not, you and Gwen will have the show the next 2 weeks.
I know.
All right. Okay.
That's pretty much what I was.
That sounds like it'll be fun anyway.
Oh, David's all excited about that. He said that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, let's start out with our question.
What's the question?
What do you remember most about growing up? That's assuming that you have grown up. So we're going to take the assumption that you've grown up.
What do I remember? How sucky it was.
You didn't like growing up?
Well, I was in a military family, so we were moving all over the place, and every couple of years I had to, leave friends and then get to some place and make new friends and get challenged to duels all the time. It was not fun until my father, I think he retired from the military when I was 14 years old. So
okay,
that's the first time I actually got to stay in one place and have like a history.
So you remember traveling all over?
So yeah, we were traveling every couple of years, lived in Oklahoma, lived in my home state of Georgia, lived in Arizona, lived back in Arizona.
Your home state of Georgia? What's your home state of Georgia?
That's where I was born.
Wow, I thought
Yeah,
you were
my
born
whole-
in Arizona.
No, my whole family is Southern.
Southern.
Yep. Yep. And then I lived in Arizona for over 30 years, so
Okay.
that's kind of where I say I'm from
You say you're from.
most of the time. Yeah,
How long have you lived here in the Pacific Northwest?
almost 10 years.
Okay, well, you're getting there. All right, David, question goes to you. What do you remember most about growing up?
Oh, probably, getting my car on my 16th birthday, all the dates I went on, and everybody wanted rides in my car. And of course, I also worked when I was in high school.
What kind of car was it?
79 Monte Carlo.
Are you serious?
Yes, with the T
The black
Was it
Monte
an-
Carlo?
Was
Yeah,
it an
That's
SS?
exactly the same car I had.
No way.
I'm dead serious. The 305 engine.
Was it an
Well,
SS?
I was a kid. I don't remember
It
that.
was a
I'll remember-
305. It's the black car. It had the streaks on the side. That is exactly the same car.
Yeah, I remember I
had.
was told somebody was always watching me thinking, because they wanted to buy it and they wanted to make sure I didn't wreck it.
black
Dude,
with
it had the
red
make-out
racing?
seats too, right? You had the big bench seat. You could pull out the headrest, and then it made a bed.
I don't think I got that far.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that
Oh,
either.
that was the best feature
Was
of the
it
car.
was it the black with the red racing stripes?
No, it was white.
No, mine was
Or white.
solid black pretty much.
And it had a little bit of a silver.
So it wasn't
lining.
an SS. It was
No,
just
but
a
then
straight
for
up
my-
Monte Carlo.
But then for my senior year of high school, my grandma bought me, at the time, a brand new Cavalier for high school for my senior year.
Oh, wow.
That-
nice grandmother.
That seems like a downgrade to me. I don't know.
The Monte Carlo, man. I
Monte
used to
Carlo
race that.
to a Cavalier.
Yeah, I raced that one too many times, and I went through a stop sign I shouldn't have gone through and hit somebody.
Did you wreck?
Yeah, I did wreck. I had a little fender bender.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. But okay.
I had a vet.
So my question is, what did I remember most about growing up?
You don't want to hear about my vet?
No, hang on. You already had your time.
Oh,
Next
okay.
time. All right. So David, my
It was a Chevette.
was it Chevette?
Yeah.
All right. So we remember most. I remember working at the Royal Fork Buffet. That was my. I was the head chef, which means all I did is I put in frozen stuff and I just hit the steamer
Did
button.
you call
and
yourself chef?
Oh yeah, I was I was the
Did
head
you wear
chef.
a hat? Like
Oh yeah, a little white hat that came on.
Yeah,
the
I
outfit.
worked at the Burger King, and I was the production leader. Even though I
Oh.
was a teenager, here I am bossing people that were older than me.
That's all right.
And then on Saturday mornings, every Saturday morning at the Royal Fork, we all played tackle football. And so we would play outside a big field by my parents' house.
Before you went into work? Or
Yeah.
while you were
No,
supposed to be
So
working?
we did because it would normally open at 9:30. We get there about 6:37 in the morning.
Okay.
And we play, and then we'd all go in there.
That,
so.
I remember all the stuff we used to do while we were working.
Oh, are you? Oh, man,
yeah.
don't ask me about Royal. If you ever ate at the Royal Fork Buffet when I was the head chef there, oh my word, your food was ugh.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Are you outing yourself?
Yeah,
there?
we did some very bad things that
I
were
know.
traditions that we would do to the food, and that food was not.
This is
best.
not a conversation
You're not
you
doing
should have
that.
on the radio.
Exactly. You should not have it. Now the Royal Fork people will be calling.
Okay, all right.
Buddy. Yeah, they're gonna call you out, buddy.
Well, Royal Fork went under, so we're okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. So let's move on now to our first segment of the day.
Yeah, good choice.
Back to school is my time to shine. Pencils, pens, snacks, backup snacks. It's all about balance.
That's our back to school.
I don't
music.
like that as much as I like the letters.
Well, you know what? We're going to be changing as we're going to have the TechTime deals and steals.
Deals
so
and deals.
So we're going to have deals and steals. That's going to be very funny, but this has had to be kind of something to put on in there for back to school. And I can only find so much on YouTube that I could download illegally and add music to the background for to have an opening.
Boy, you're just really lucid right now, aren't you?
That's what happens.
You're talking a lot of stuff you probably shouldn't be saying.
I'm going to get myself in trouble.
It's
going to be a great show, though, so you're going to enjoy this because you're going to learn a lot of stuff about me that maybe you didn't know about. And the first thing you're going to know is that on our best Labor Day sales, these are sales that are going on this weekend only and that have been endorsed by TechTime Radio. So that's myself personally. First thing we're going to be talking about is laptops. The Samsung CB4 11.7-inch Intel Celeron Chromebook is now available for $129, regularly $299. It's available this weekend only at Walmart. What's good about this is you get 4 gigs of RAM, 32 gig hard drive, and it's the perfect on-the-go email, word processing, and internet needs to be safe and secure because Chromebooks do not get viruses because they don't download anything. It's all off the web itself. You can take this and open it up on this weekend, which is the #1 hacking and as you called Hacktivist weekend?
Hacktober.
Hacktober. So
Yes,
it's the Hacktober
Hacktoberfest.
week. So this is the big time. If you want to be safe and still cruise the internet, go grab yourself a Chromebook, Samsung CB4 11.6-inch Intel Celeron Chromebook at Walmart. All right, so now we're going to rotate. You got the next big deal. What do you have coming up?
This is about gaming PCs and laptops, which is kind of funny because this is supposed to be back to school stuff.
Okay, well,
But
but if you're in college, you need to also game too, right?
I suppose.
Okay.
You know.
Don't you game on your computer?
Yeah, but I'm not in college anymore. I mean, when I went to college, the internet was not around.
Are you sure?
Boy, things I have to
Did
look
you go to
forward
college
to.
37 years ago?
I went to college. I was 18 in 1988.
In 19. Oh well, okay. Well, that guy.
So,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Keep on going. Tell us what the deal is.
This is for Alienware Aurora R12.
Okay.
Gaming PC. Originally $1,469.99 is now on sale for $1,077.99 at Dell.com.
That's a pretty. What's in the specs for that machine?
The specs. This is considered the granddaddy of PC gaming, with that reputation typically comes at a premium cost. The Aurora R12 rig bucks this trend for Labor Day, offering a beast of a machine for $1,077.99 on top of being stacked with an Intel i5 11500F processor and an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3060 graphics card. Base unit contains 8 gigs of memory and 1 terabyte hard drive.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
You could probably turn that over into a crypto mining machine too with that video card.
Really?
Yeah.
Even though it's just an i5?
Yeah, because you know what? When you're crypto mining, it makes no difference your processor speed. It's all about your graphics.
It's all about the graphics card.
Yeah, it's your GPU and it's your threads of your GPU.
Well, maybe I should go get one, and then we can hook it up as a miner.
Yeah, I've been doing okay on the cryptocurrency this year.
Yeah?
Yeah, but just make sure if you're going to do cryptocurrency, you only go to Coinbase.
And you have a crypto wallet.
And you have a crypto wallet, so you can make sure that after you buy it, you can then put it into a physical form.
Which is ironically a thing you take the data off of your computer with and put it in a physical object like a
real wallet.
Like a real wallet. So, yeah, maybe, I don't know.
So, yeah.
Maybe you just should be used to just carrying around physical objects all over
You
the
got
place.
a whole bunch of flash memory and USB drives,
I'm
and you just
have
pull it
like
out.
a bandolier strap of flash drives that I rip out of my computer before it's even done copying to.
So you're out on the street and somebody jumps at you and they say, "Okay, don't give me your wallet. Give me all your flash drives that are
give me all
available."
your flash drives. Give me your crypto wallet.
That's right. All right, our next deal here goes to earbuds. Everybody likes Apple AirPods. I have it myself in Apple AirPods. We had a problem with them all syncing, so my wife's used to sync with my sons, and my sons used to. It was awesome around the house. So you go and they'd have the iPod.
Did they cross?
Yeah, so the
cross
phones.
sync?
So you're talking on my phone, and all of a sudden I listen to music. Then all of a sudden I could pipe them into my wife's headphones to be like, "What are you doing? What is that?" So, but we got them all fixed out. So the Apple
Is that a hack?
No, it's just a configuration thing that was enjoyable to have, and now the wife figured out how to do it. Yeah,
settings.
Yeah, and now she's like, "No, we're not having that." All right, the AirPods are normally $199. Sometimes great deals are $159, but this weekend only $119 at Amazon.com can get you the Apple branded AirPods. Don't buy the imitation. At a $40 off discount, you can receive the best earbuds available for your iPhone and for other items too, because they're Bluetooth enabled.
Cool. And what was that sale price?
$119 on Amazon.com.
All right.
Normally $159 on Amazon. Normally $199 in most retail stores.
All right. I got an Amazon.com one for you.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you like Fitbit?
Yeah, except for it never ever tells me I get my 10,000 steps.
Yeah, you don't really use it.
I don't.
Fitbit means you have to actually exercise.
No, I do during basketball season because I officiate basketball games. So I do get my 10,000 steps in those days. But I do like Fitbit as a brand.
Well, you can get a Fitbit charge for $129.
Okay, so that's the watch, right?
Yep, that's the watch.
Okay,
which is down from $149.95 on Amazon.com. So the Fitbit Charge 5 may be getting all the attention lately, but its predecessor still holds its own.
Okay, so it's the Fitbit Charge 4.
Fitbit Charge 4.
Okay,
yeah, so it's the one down from
right.
the latest. So it's offering Amazon is offering a good deal on the Charge 4. and it's brimming with features that including heart rate and sleep monitors as well as a GPS. I hope it's a better GPS than my phone.
Probably.
Whether I hate my GPS on my phone.
Why is that?
If I ever have to worry about some people tracking me with my GPS,
it's gonna be like
they're never gonna find me.
Does your GPS not work right?
It really is horrible.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there you go. If you're new to the smartwatch.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
The whiskey's getting to you. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, smartwatch craze are looking to upgrade. Charge 4 is a great choice.
Okay. All right, my
$129.
My last item, because we got to go quick because Nick's on the line, and I'm sure waiting for us. We got the smart home device, the Ring Video Doorbell. My son has one of these.
Oh, these are all over the place.
Yeah, so right now they're on sale at Amazon.com, $44.99. Normally it's $59.99 on there, so it's not a huge discount, but it's $15 off the list price. Essentially, you put this on your doorbell. My son gets his packages from Amazon. It alerts when the package is there, so any package thieves that are trying to steal them, you can have it taken care of. You can turn it on. You can watch, and it's amazing how it fits as the doorbell, and it's got that whole 360 view of what's going on.
It can't have a 360
or 180 view.
Yeah, okay,
so
that's better.
Say 360
yeah,
view.
That's better. Because otherwise you're looking right at your brick.
Sorry, 180 view. All right.
Do you have one?
Do your last one.
Echo?
Yeah, do the last one.
All right. The Echo Show 8, originally $109.99, is $79.99 on Amazon.com.
Just this weekend only?
Just this weekend only. And this is, let's see, enjoy the conveniences of Alexa at a cost that won't bust your budget. What this offers on the first generation Echo Show 8, the HD smart screen can be used to quickly access weather and traffic reports, make video calls, or even help cook dinner by displaying favorite recipes.
And it also lets you play IMDb TV content on there, too.
Okay.
So you can
Did
watch
not
movies.
know that.
Yeah, you can watch movies on there.
All right.
I have one of those devices in my office, right?
Do you say, Alexa, show me some...
My
IMDb
biggest thing is
TV.
Alexa right now, play country music or classic country music. That's my jam right now.
I was so ticked off at my Alexa the other day because I was actually playing a video on my phone.
Yeah.
Where somebody said, Alexa, do something, and I was across the room, and she started doing it. I'm like, hey.
So I need to do a video right now. Alexa, purchase new TV. Alexa, purchase. Anybody watching this plays it back.
Well, I was upset because it was
buy a
supposed
new
to be,
LG TV.
It's supposed to be gauged to my voice only, but here's this lady on here saying Alexa commands, and she's doing it.
Wow, there you go.
I'm really ticked off.
Maybe you have a girl voice. Maybe that's what it's telling you. All right,
maybe
we're gonna go and break to commercial. When we come on back, we got Nick Espinoza. We're gonna be asking tons of questions. Specifically, we're gonna be talking about what happens to technology in a country that gets overran by a new leadership regime, and what happens when a country like America leaves their technology there? What happens when there's other technology from private companies? All the questions you may not have known or not even thought about regarding the issues with Afghanistan will be talked about specifically in technology with ourselves and Mr. Nick Espinoza from Security Fanatics. We'll see you right after this commercial break. I'm Nathan Mumm. We got Mike Roday here and David Brown behind the board.
And peanut butter whiskey.
Upper Left Corner is a PNW true crime podcast now streaming on all major podcast platforms. If you get excited when your favorite true crime podcast tells a story about a place that you've been to or the town that you live in, then Upper Left Corner podcast is for you. Each week, I tell you a story of a crime that has taken place in the PNW and give you background about the town the crime occurred in. If you like true crime, check out Upper Left Corner podcast, now available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and more.
Ace Hardware is a helpful place with prompt, friendly service, knowledge, and the little things that make a big difference.
Service.
Selection.
Advice.
Community involvement.
Competitive prices.
Convenience.
Located near you.
And the things you need, such as
house keys,
lawn and garden,
plumbing,
electrical,
hardware,
grills,
outdoor living supplies,
and even nuts and bolts.
When you visit Ace Hardware, you'll be greeted at the door and given the help you need.
So come visit us at Ace Hardware in Evergreen Way in Everett, Lake Stevens, and now Stanley.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Oh man, this whiskey! Oh, that was great. I had another shot during the break.
I know, it's good stuff.
We may have to carpool down for our after show.
We're going to have to walk.
We may have to walk. We'll just take a...
Or just stay here and listen to Chef Jamie for a little while.
There you go. We can hang out with David.
We can hang out with David.
That's right. Okay. Well, welcome back. If you are new to the show, welcome. This is our second hour of TechTime Radio. This is our hacker weekend.
The chill hour.
This is our chill hour.
That's right.
We are excited
We're
to have...
celebrating Hacktoberfest.
Hacktoberfest. I like that. You should ask Nick what he thinks about that.
Yeah.
We're going to be bringing up our caller, and we're going to start our next segment now.
This is a segment we call Ask the Experts.
All right, welcome back. We have information regarding Afghanistan's technology sector and possible concerns over security issues regarding data being left behind as the Taliban took over the country. We have Nick Espinoza from the Security Fanatics on the show to help answer our questions.
Hey, Nick.
Nick,
hey, guys.
We are excited to be here. Let me just tell you, we are going to be a little bit more...
We're enjoying too much whiskey today.
We have, I don't know if you've ever had Screwball peanut butter whiskey.
You still have to eat it.
I've never heard of it.
Okay, so it's at Costco. This
Neither
stuff,
have we.
Neither have I. My wife
All right.
bought it. She thought, and I was like, okay, it's got some taste. 70 proof. It's about $29-$30. Unbelievable. It is the best whiskey I think I've ever. It's like a Reese's Pieces with alcohol.
That's right.
It literally tastes like Reese's Pieces, and then you get a buzz. Wow.
That sounds actually really interesting. I'll check that out.
So you're going to have to check that out. So
I'll totally check that out.
It's really sweet.
Okay. All right. Are you drinking some whiskey also?
As always, of course, the Pope is also Catholic, for the record, consistently.
That's right.
There it is. Once again, my normal standby. Every other time I'm drinking Lagavulin with you guys. But
correct.
I will have an interesting one, I think, for the next time. I'm getting a bottle of Hakushu, which is a Japanese whiskey that apparently is pretty hard to get here, and it's coming by way of a friend of mine, Kevin. So
okay, cool.
Yeah. So I'll let you guys know how it is.
Yeah. I have Nick's at home. I just need to bring it in.
Yeah, we need to.
So we can. I got to make sure I plan Nick to be on the show. We have it all taken care of, so we can both share that and have a great time together. All right,
cool.
Nick. So I appreciate you joining the show.
Yeah,
we got lots of questions to ask it. Now, first off, I'm going to ask you a question. Let me see if this is a hack or not. So I don't know if you heard it on the first hour, but you probably didn't.
No.
So if you have a website and let's say you make fun of FireEye all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, someone breaks into your website, but they didn't break into your website through the traditional way with authentication codes or anything like that. They called up HostGator and found out where your site was hosted, and then somehow convinced the HostGator people to allow them to get access so they could hack my site. Does that really count as a hack, or does that not count as a hack?
I've got a colleague that is an expert at calling the major telecom ones to get passwords from people or account information and all of that. And what she does is she puts a recording of a crying baby on and sounds really frustrated. And the operators feel so bad for her that they're like, oh, sure, of course, we'll just reset your password. I know you can't find it right now. Don't worry about it. So no, that's absolutely a way to go in terms of getting information. 100%.
You got hacked.
So I got hacked. So I don't know if you heard. So I got hacked by FireEye. But what they ended up doing though is they ended up optimizing my website. So they went through and they did a bunch of work. So this guy must either like the show or doesn't like the show, or he just wanted to prove something. But
I think this is more of a be careful what you say.
Yeah, be careful what you say. So I said, okay, I'm not going to say that they can't hack my site anymore. So they can hack my site. But they ended up optimizing and doing a bunch of other stuff for me on top of it. So it was a very odd hack. So I kind of enjoyed it at the same time. I was very confused, but there you go. All right.
And speaking of hacking real quick, interestingly enough, on my own show, I actually got a call from a station manager, one of the stations I'm on, and he said, never say Amazon Echo's trigger word again, because he was actually getting calls from some of the people that were listening. And as I was saying that, talking about Amazon's ALEXA, basically it was getting triggered. And so I watch it now when I talk about it publicly in any way to say Amazon Echo.
So you say that. So Amazon Alexa, order a brand new LG TV.
Right. Yeah. No. And
somebody plays that
right now is telling it to cancel.
Right. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I was yelling at it. I was yelling at it across the room. I'm like, stop, cancel, Alexa, cancel. And she kept going.
Yeah. She kept on going.
Yeah.
And now she's really polite to you. Oh, have a good evening. Or like when I ask her what the time is, oh, have a good day. It's just like ultra polite.
Yeah.
Well, I need a sarcastic one. I want to get rid of polite Alexa to a little bit like, I hope your day sucks.
I'm sure there's an app you can download.
Yeah, but the politeness is how they get you. I mean, we're getting closer and closer to Skynet, and so they've got to get nicer, biding their time until they launch all the nuclear weapons, right?
Yeah, there we go.
All right, so as Taliban swept into Afghanistan in mid-August, declaring the end of 2 decades of war, reports quickly circulated that they had captured U.S. military biometric devices, considering the HIIDE, that would help identify Afghans who had supported the coalition forces and allowed them to get information regarding fingerprints and facial images. What is the HIIDE machine, and should we be concerned about this?
Yeah, we should actually be deeply concerned for every citizen of Afghanistan right now. Obviously, those that are not supporting the Taliban, like just everybody else. But what you're talking about is HIIDE, HIIDE, or Handheld Interagency Identity Detection Equipment. Now, a ton of these were actually seized during basically the Taliban's march through the entire country as they launched this offensive, and essentially the Afghan army really didn't put up a fight. So they started capturing not just, the Humvees and the firearms of the world. They actually started capturing these devices. These devices, though, contain identifying biometric data like iris scans, fingerprints, as well as biographical information, and they all tie into a large centralized database. Now, the U.S. military was simply using these as a means of tracking terrorists and other insurgents, but they were also collecting biometric data on Afghans that were assisting the United States. And so they were using this to actually identify, well, are you actually the translator, or are you secretly, a Taliban suicide bomber or something along those lines? That's what they were using this for. But here's the thing, though. It doesn't stop with this. It's unclear if the U.S. military or how much of this biometric database from the HIIDE machines are going to be intercepted or captured by the Taliban. But that's only half of the problem here that we have with biometrics. And where this essentially started was years ago in Afghanistan, because by virtue of wanting to elect a government actually chosen by the people to thwart election fraud, biometric systems from a German company called Dermalog were actually used to verify the identities of every eligible Afghan citizen that could vote. So these citizens would actually match Afghan citizens to their photograph and a fingerprint in this system in order to ensure that the person was who they claimed to be, and also that they could only vote once. There are 40,000 Dermalog devices in Afghanistan. And basically all intelligence says there's no way that either Dermalog or the U.S. military was collecting these, because they didn't collect the HIIDEs. So it's not just the population of translators and their families and those working with the U.S. military. It's the entire Afghan population that's at risk here, and it's a grave concern that they should have right now.
So let's talk about this. 22 million Afghans have active phone subscriptions. Mm-hmm. So they are considered one of the top countries that have that. Over 90% of the country has access across all 34 provinces. So now that people are connected to the internet, what happens to these cell phone towers, these cell phones, now that we have a new regime and government in place? What's happening to that data being transformed and collected from the new regime?
Yeah, and I think that's a really good question, but I think we have to understand some foundational things about how the internet right now, especially telecom, mobile telecom, is laid out in Afghanistan. They're pretty much connected the same way here, but a good chunk of the country, the number one ISP or internet service provider, is still using the core of their technology is 3G, and 4G is also in some areas of the country, more populated areas like Kabul. Now, under the government that was founded by the United States and Hamid Karzai, the internet was actually now considered free and open, right? It's an open expression resource where you can research, you can collaborate. So they had essentially the same rights that American citizens did under that government, that we can go post whatever we want, including negative things about what we thought were negative. Also, Afghanistan, and this is something that I think is deeply troubling now that the Taliban has taken over. Afghanistan has a very few people in their older generation. Over 65 is something like less than 3% of the country. Almost 43% of the entire population under 14 is under 14. So they're 14 and under. And if you go up to the next age bracket around 40 years old, that's roughly 75% of the country. So you are looking at a young country that adopted technology. There's an entire generation, Gen Z specifically, in Afghanistan that is thriving on Instagram, on TikTok, on other social media platforms. And they honestly don't remember, or they weren't born when the Taliban originally was toppled in the early 2000s. So this basically is a huge, huge problem. Because if their first inclination as young people is to share their disdain for the Taliban on the Facebooks of the world, now the government is in control of the telecoms. They're in control of essentially the data, which means the Taliban can go to the internet service providers and say, give me the subscriber's name, give me their location, because we know that, you know, our mobile phones are crazy GPS and can pinpoint us, except for Mike, obviously, but everybody else, you know, can be pinpointed, you know, very easily. And so that's a huge problem. Records, information, all of this can be captured from the internet service providers in the country.
So that's a big deal. So let's talk about that.
We're going to see a lot of, well, I don't know if we're going to see it, but there's going to be a lot of this re-education going on in Afghanistan.
Yeah, all those Gen Zs, right? Because they've all had they've all had the freedom to do whatever they want. Now they have to.
This is not going to be pretty.
This is not. So let's talk about the data servers, private companies' data. Is this in jeopardy? So let's say I'm a private company and I was in Afghanistan, and now all of a sudden military changes over. I got a bunch of server arrays. I got a bunch of items that private company data. Should I be concerned about that if I was one of the companies there?
100%. 100%. And the reason being is that, think about this, with the new government comes new rules, new laws, everything else. I mean, we've seen essentially what the Taliban has said regarding the women of Afghanistan, saying, oh, they will have full rights under their interpretation of Islamic law. That is radically different than the government started with Hamid Karzai 2 decades ago in the United States. And so their rights are drastically changing. And so for the companies, these private corporations that have infrastructure, data infrastructure, servers, whatever it is, in Afghanistan, they have the same problem as the ISPs do. The government is the authority in that country. And so if these servers are within the borders of Afghanistan, then the Taliban could simply seize them because they are the government. But I think the bigger question here is basically, is the big tech in the West, like Facebook and Google, this is the big question here. Will they honor information requests, what will basically soon be legitimate government requests from Afghanistan, or will they deny those requests and risk being banned from this country or use? Meaning, if you are that Afghan citizen and you're putting stuff out on Facebook and, you know, I hate the Taliban or whatever that is, and the Taliban saying, yes, I'm officially, as a government, requesting information on Facebook, and I want, you know, whatever the Taliban considers a warrant to go ahead and scrape that information from that dissident, from that Afghan citizen. How Facebook responds, how Google responds is going to be very, very interesting. Now, most of them, interestingly enough, except for Twitter, of all places, basically categorize the Taliban as a terrorist organization. So as they are now officially, let's say, becoming a government, we're going to see where that changes. That's obviously a huge, huge thing that we're looking at. And we're obviously hoping that, the big tech is not going to assist the Taliban with this, because we're literally talking about executing people here if they get this information.
And let's explain what Twitter is doing. What is Twitter doing for this?
So basically, Facebook, take your social media pick, even TikTok, although we may see this change because of China. Facebook, for example, and Google consider the Taliban a terrorist organization. Therefore, the Taliban cannot have official Facebook accounts where they can attract followers, deliver information, all of this. Twitter, interestingly enough, has taken the stance. I don't think they've changed it in the last week or so since I looked this up. They take the stance to say, well, the Taliban can have a Twitter account as long as they are, providing or staying within our rules and guidelines and our terms of service. They can do whatever they want. So if the Taliban starts saying, hey, let's blow up the world, Twitter will ban them. But until that, they can actually have a Twitter account officially. And that is a huge difference between pretty much every platform out there right now.
Yeah, that's great. All right.
Actually seen
crazy.
I have too. Yeah, that's very crazy. All right, last question for you, because we're running out of time. The United States government Office of Personnel Management has said to be compromised. Is this correct? And if so, what dangers could this cause?
Yeah, so that's the rumor right there, and part of it is the same. The Office of Personnel Management has, I think, the similar issue that the U.S. military has, in that essentially the entire government, it seems like, and even President Biden himself has said this, we were expecting the Afghan army to fight back. We were expecting to have months of breathing room to properly pack up, properly take all of this information out, and in something like 10 days, the Taliban just blew through everything, and we're at the gates of Kabul. So everybody was scrambling, everybody was trying to burn documentation, and so by virtue of that, it is very possible that the Office of Personnel Management, that essentially had an adjunct in Afghanistan, could be compromised in this way. It's a huge problem there, because now you're talking about government employee information, not to mention the fact that they were probably the ones issuing the paychecks to the translators and to everything else. So on top of the, let's say, the evidence of the biometric databases from Dermalog and the HIIDE devices, as well now as, let's say, pay stubs from a U.S. agency in Afghanistan, that's overwhelming evidence that the translator is who the translator, claims not to be. And that's a huge problem, because, as we've already seen, we've seen translators captured and executed already, in the last couple of weeks. And so it's just a horrific situation all around. It really is.
So, all right. So last, what comment would you say to tell everybody and all of our listeners, what should they be most concerned about with this breach? And then we're going to take a commercial break. So what is their biggest concern?
I think the biggest concern that we have, quite frankly, is this is going to accelerate the human rights violations that we are all expecting to see from the Taliban. So if you recall, they basically lined up people in a soccer field and had a mass execution prior to us invading that country. And despite all of their we're changed, we're new, we're more moderate, we have seen anything but so far. And if they are able to start capturing these people, and we had reports of them blocking access to the airports, from people to get in, I think we're going to start seeing mass executions again. And it's because, people, Afghans, freely and securely believe their government, when they were giving them this information that this government is going to stand, it's not going to be used against them. Regime change always spells disaster. And I think that's a lesson for the world.
There you go. Thank you very much for joining us on Tech Time Radio, Nick. I always appreciate our conversation. We will see you again in a couple of weeks, I'm sure.
Yeah, bye,
hopefully,
Nick.
yeah. Thanks,
All right,
guys.
great. All right, Dave, we're going to go and take a commercial break. When we come on back, we have our Microsoft special segment that we're going to be talking about the year 1999.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and my life's work is connecting people with coffee. Story Coffee is a small batch specialty coffee company that uses technology to connect people to each product resource, which allows farmers to unlock their economic freedom. Try our Medium Roast Founder Series coffee, which is an exotic bourbon variety that is smooth, fresh, and elegant at storycoffee.com. That's STORI coffee.com. Today you can get your first bag free when you subscribe at storycoffee.com with code TechTime. That's STORI coffee.com.
Hi, this is Lisa Downs, host of Reigniting You, a new show here on KKNW that explores a variety of topics and timely issues for making mid to late career transitions. I'll be here every Wednesday afternoon at 3 o'clock bringing you guest interviews, career transition advice, and great stories to guide you to what's next in your career and life. Gain a renewed sense of purpose for your next phase with a positive, forward-looking approach. Get ready to be re-energized, recharged, and reignited Wednesdays at 3 o'clock.
Hey, babe, I hear that you can download a new voice on Siri.
No way.
Yes, it's true. It's a voice that goes, hey, you big hunk. What do you want to do and where do you want to go?
Stop it.
Oh, okay, I'm kidding.
What has tech ever done for our relationships?
We can't talk about that on the radio.
If you want to eavesdrop on juicy conversations that no one is having around all things love, sex, and relationships, join us right here, 1 p.m. on KKNW and wherever you get your podcast.
We look forward to seeing you in the Love Shack.
Your business deserves the same expertise as that of a Fortune 500 company. If you need a CIO-level service, why hire a full-time staff member at $250,000 a year when you can get this on-demand service for fractions of the cost? As your CIO on demand will give you the steps you need to take so as to minimize interruption to your business and profitability, and provide you and your business with training and education to prevent future attacks. To get an efficiency review for your business today, contact us at www.ee-services.com.
In 1999, Microsoft also raised the bar on its international presence. Mere days after the new year on January 6th, Tinky Winky, Dipsy, Lala, and Poe say hello to Microsoft. That's right, Microsoft is awarded the license to produce Actimate's interactive Teletubbies. March 18th turns out to be yet another big day for Microsoft. On that date, Internet Explorer 5.0 is introduced by Bill Gates at a launch event on the Microsoft campus in Redmond. By the following week, more than 1 million downloads of the new version have taken place. That summer on June 7th, Steve Ballmer officially launches Office 2000, a key element of the company's vision of knowledge workers without limits.
This is, I think, a very significant event, the vision of this third generation of tool for knowledge workers.
And 1 week later, on June 14th, Microsoft announces the product details of its client and server software for the television industry, the Microsoft TV Platform Adaptation Kit, or Microsoft TV Pack. On the same day, MSN Mobile, the newest addition to the MSN network of internet services, is made available. Consumers can now sign up to receive a host of wireless information services on their interactive pagers and cell phones. Gamers rejoice again on August 5th. On display at the Microsoft booth are Age of Empires 2 and Age of Kings, and Star Lancer, an intense first-person space combat game. While as 1999 ends, Microsoft's fiscal year-end sales total $19,750 million, and the headcount leaps to over 31,000 people. But as the 1900s end and the 2000s begin, the specter of the antitrust ruling looms over Microsoft. Still, unprecedented growth and expansion lie ahead in the year 2000.
Yeah, that's 1999.
That was 1999.
That was a big year.
There's a lot that happened.
There was a lot. Some of the other stuff that happened. You know what that was?
What's that?
Hungary, Poland, and the Czech Republic joined NATO.
Okay.
As member Boris Yeltsin.
Yep.
He resigned as president, and guess who took his place?
Oh, Vladimir
Putin.
Or Putin does.
On the Ritz.
Okay.
All right. So, Prime Minister Vladimir Putin was the acting president after Boris Yeltsin, and then Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper was placed back on display after 22 years of restoration work.
Okay, I remember that. Then, that was a big deal.
Yeah, and then The Matrix came out.
The Matrix, the movie?
Yeah.
Oh, they're coming out with The Matrix 4 soon, too.
I know.
So it came on out? Okay.
So The Matrix came out.
The most important thing, though, Gen Con, they talked about
it. Age of Empires 2. Yeah.
The Age of Kings.
Yes. I have owned that game since then. I bought that game that year.
I play it every Sunday with my kids.
I know. I stopped playing it because I get my butt kicked by your kids.
You need to come on back because my oldest is getting way too good. So me and the youngest have to team up against the oldest, and he still beats us all the time.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen.
So you could be the computer person.
Yeah,
okay.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, all right. Okay.
So,
yes.
And you were working for Microsoft.
I was working for Microsoft. Absolutely.
What was it like in 1999?
So here's one of my reviews here. So I went through and started looking through a bunch of reviews and remembered, man, it was big deal. I helped work on a company called the Mentco Corporation. You can Google that.
Mentco?
Yeah, Mentco. It was a corporation.
Is it like Mentos?
Well, no. There's BG was a part of it. Steve Ballmer was a part of it. Web TV was a part of it. So it was like an interactive new kind of net accounts that were set up for email and different items for that. So a bunch of little spin-up companies were happening at Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
The big thing, though, that took over Microsoft was the worm virus. Do you remember the W32?
Yes.
Melissa, this is the very first virus that was distributed by email.
Right. So the internet started when?
Well, the internet started in 1995.
Right.
Yes. That was when it was really available.
If you were 35 years in the virtual world, you were not.
You're talking about the hour before us.
Yeah.
Chill.
I'm talking about that guy that was talking about being on virtual.
Yeah, you got to be careful about what you say.
Years.
Yeah.
So 1995, the internet happens.
That's really that's when you have Netscape.
It takes 4 years for some guy to get the idea that they can do a virus.
Yeah. And the virus comes on out and it destroyed tons of computers, and then it would email everybody else as a different virus. And we didn't know what the zip file was, so you got a zip file that came into your machine. You clicked on it, and you opened
so we were clicking on all kinds of stuff.
Everybody clicked on it because we had no cyber training, no idea. Don't click on the link. So I got an email all of a sudden. Gee, I got an email from Bill Gates. What is Bill Gates sending me an email?
Yeah.
Oh, he's sending me something cool. Let me click on it. Boom. All of a sudden it opened up. It was huge over Microsoft. The whole campus was literally shut down for weeks when this happened.
That's the interesting thing about humans is that we are a trial and error evolutionary.
Correct.
Or evolutionists.
Yeah.
You know, we do everything trial and error.
Yep.
So knowledge is power really works here because we had to experience this so we could understand. And the funny thing is we're now in 2021.
Yep.
And this still happens all the time.
It does, but at least we're now more trained. So if you get a zip file in your email, you're not clicking on it now any day soon, right?
No, I don't.
Okay.
But that's how most people get into these systems.
So Windows 2000 was huge.
Mm.
Windows 2000 was a huge
that, yeah.
operating system. Office 2000 was huge. We had VPs all across Microsoft that had both of these platforms on it. So this was a new secure system. The virus comes out and it hits all these machines. We had to go and clean all of them. We had to go to their houses. There's many of these houses. We go with their loved ones and significant others out to their house and clean those machines. Mm. And then we were preparing for the end of the world.
Yes.
Y2K,
buddy.
So somehow we had this conversation in the technology world, which is correct, that the BIOS clocks on these really, 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 really old AS4000 machines,
2 digits.
Yeah, didn't have the ability to go to 2000. And so it was always 97, 98, 99. Now what are we going to do with 2000? It's 00. Does it roll back to think that
the biggest scare that never happened?
It was a huge scare. And let me just tell you, I literally invested a bunch of time and effort for the millennial timepiece. So this was a solution. I had contracts done from the UK. And it would plug into a printer port. And I was going to be the distributor for all of the United States. You plug it in, and then essentially what happens is there's a CMOS clock in this machine itself. You would load the drivers up and would tell it that you would bypass the BIOS clock and to use your printer port as a pass-through with its own clock. So if you had any problems with the year 2000, you could use this clock as an interim until you upgraded your system.
That's basically for us non-technology people that.
Did I get too geeky there?
It's a fancy way of saying that it was a workaround.
So it was a workaround.
Whole technology snafu that everybody was freaking out about.
Guess what happened so I was working and we were all leading up to those months. Remember the planes were going to start falling out of the sky.
I was working. I was working as a security officer for a telecommunications company at that time, and we were all hands on deck, and we were expecting riots and all kinds of craziness to happen. We ended up just being bored all night and watching the fireworks happen.
So I was on call. And we had all the executives at Microsoft essentially all stayed kind of home. They're all hunkering down. And it was interesting. That was the very first time in my life that I realized Australia essentially is like the first place where the clock rolls over.
Yeah.
So essentially we had Microsoft Australia at the time. It
And
was on all lockdown. We flew people out there. There was hundreds and thousands of people crammed in to this Microsoft Australia for the end of the world to happen. That all of the computers wouldn't work, all of this. Now, we ended up replacing hardware galore. Every server was replaced with a new server. This was the time, if you were Gateway, a big company that sold computers
I remember
at the time,
Gateway.
and if you were Dell and Compaq, you were making bank because everybody was replacing all of their infrastructure, not knowing what to do with that. And essentially, everybody was waiting around in Australia, and then all of a sudden, Australia hits. Nothing happens.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden it starts rotating across, and we're watching all the fireworks, and all the news stations had the Y2K alerts with these technical experts ready for the end of the world to happen, and then we watched more fireworks.
So that was all scary and stuff, but that's not the important question.
What's the important question?
I did not know that Microsoft owned the Teletubbies.
Oh, it did? So
did they own Barney too?
Well, no, so the Actimates were huge. So here's the thing. Microsoft employees were all about my age at the time.
Mm-hmm.
There was very few that were older than me. So they were all in their early 30s, and everybody was starting to have families.
Right.
So Microsoft took over the Actimates deal. So they had Barney.
I hate Barney.
Well,
I hated Barney. I loved the Teletubbies.
Okay, so the Teletubbies were the third part. So they had Barney. Then they had Arthur and his sister. I can't remember what it was.
Arthur. I remember Arthur.
Yeah, and then they had the Teletubbies. And they were all interactive, and they had exclusive deals to distribute these interactive deals. Yeah. My kid had Poe, the red guy.
Yeah.
Whatever. He had a Poe, and you'd press on his stomach, and it would do these little lights up, and it would say,
I would not let my kids watch Barney.
But you did let them watch Teletubbies?
Teletubbies was a whole different. My kids loved I love Teletubbies.
Those guys
had just the weirdest thing.
They had to be smoking so much MJ.
Yeah, it was just the weirdest thing.
It was the sun come up.
Yeah, Teletubbies was one of the weirdest shows I've ever seen, but we loved it.
It was very
Barney. I wanted to throat punch.
Okay, well, you know what? My kids love Barney. We used to play with him all the time.
David's
saluting us. All right. Well, you know what? I'm Nathan Mumm. I have Microday here. David Brown behind the board. Thank you so much for joining us for 2 hours of Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment in technology today. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service from Apple to Google and everything in between. And also signing up on our YouTube page, where you get to see us live in video. Yep, you can see us chat and have some fun. It's youtube.com/TechTimeRadio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.
The views expressed on this program are those of